You may have seen signs in Spanish. For example, the exit sign says Salida or Salida. Well, this is the town of Salida, and it does also mean exit or the gateway. This is located in the northern portion of the San Luis Valley, and it's drawn people of a certain mentality, spiritual orientation, if you will, to this region. And so this is a special place. It's like a hidden secret of the San Luis Valley. And like the San Luis Valley in general, it pulls people in, but not everyone is drawn to Salida. And I certainly wasn't drawn here at first. I've been familiar with the San Luis Valley for several years. It's only now that I found my way to Salida. I found myself desiring change, a change in location. I feel like when you're out in the Rio Grande Ranchos out there, you can go through a sense of accelerated learning, although I wasn't intending to do that. But I feel like that's exactly what occurred. And I was only there as long as I really needed to be there. There were a couple things that were learned about life, people, and off-the-grid building. And I feel like I shouldn't sell myself short. I need to keep investigating. I need to keep exploring my own freedom. I think people explore certain aspects of themselves more so than they explore their own true freedom. And I'm aware of how I'm affected differently by some of these environments. In some ways not so good, in some ways more positive. So I've heard some things about Salida, and from what I've seen, including inside the Walmart shopping, the vibes are a little higher here. I can tell you that much. The property's a little more valuable. It's a little more in demand. But it's not so extremely gentrified like certain cities have become, like Portland, or even smaller cities like Taos, New Mexico. Heavily gentrified, very popular. But what I can say is the women in this town genuinely look more attractive. And their vibration seems like, in Portland, there's a lot of attractive women, but because of the environment itself, there are certain things that I know are bothering those women that are keeping them from being fully happy. That's my belief. Because there's things going on there on an energetic frequency level. Things like smart meters, things like a bloody past. Okay, so here we are in Salida, Colorado, and when I look at the women here, I feel something different from them. And I'm not saying that, they're enlightened goddesses. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying, like, whatever is going on with them in their minds, it doesn't come across as a whole bunch of fear. I'm not saying that there isn't a whole bunch of programming. You know what? I'm just going to say it right now. There's something different about Salida. And it has a reputation of just being some new age town, and that doesn't necessarily have the best connotation, especially when we've seen the behavior of some new age people today and the hypocrisy. You know, we've seen a lot of hypocrisy today with people, don't be negative, just be positive. Well, here, when I look at this town, I see something that, even though they might be a little hipsterish, the vibes are a little more positive, regardless. There seems to be a little less fear, less anxiety. I'm sure it has to do with where they are. The mountains, this environment. Now, Alamosa has mountains around it, but it's got a dirtier vibe. Alamosa is about an hour and a half south of where I am now. Hour and a half south. If you drive fast, like a lot of people, an hour. And so, essentially, I've got a little bit of experience visiting a number of different towns and living in Portland for a number of years and filling out the vibes from people. And as I go about driving through this town, and I walked through downtown, it's a small downtown, felt the vibes outside the bar, even though I didn't go in. For the most part, very happy. The laughter from the women actually sounded like laughter. It didn't sound like cackling. In Portland, it most always, towards the end, sounded like cackling. Like, yes, we have the child. Drink of the blood. Drink of the blood. Here, in Salida, there's like a freer energy. Now, what will my interactions with them be? Being that it does feel like mostly a white town. And I know that in Portland, it seemed like people were just happy being amongst themselves or what they determined to be their tribe. There's a Masonic lodge here. What I'm assuming or hoping, actually somebody just saw me fucking filming and commentating and she was cracking up. And she was probably of a background of Indian. She was probably of a background of, there's a couple really cute Indian, Filipino, Islander, Thai, mixed looking chicks. So I think that this town has either brought some serious healing to some women and perhaps some other things, because I know from what I've seen in Portland, there may be people that look good. I mean, they look sexy, they look attractive, but behind that, when you look at the energy field and when you feel it, there's something else there. And that's really why I wanted to leave Portland. I started to feel disoriented by all the fear that I felt the female population throwing out and emitting. Here, I mean, I'm seeing more people smile. And in the few encounters that I have had with females just today, I sensed a positive energy, a lack of fear, a smile, a certain sense of curiosity, a certain sense of being carefree. So honestly, I kind of came up here with the intention of starting a new life, starting yesterday. I just created a new intention and broke any potential soul agreements to be a slave and be in a state of misery, constantly moving from one place to another. If I can't find a sense of peace here just hanging out for a few days, where can I find a sense of peace? This is kind of a place for me to get in touch with my own soul, I guess, a little bit, and heal my heart in perhaps some new ways that were not at the last couple places that I was at in Colorado. I felt like I absorbed some healing in those places, and I would even say insight. But part of the insight includes the importance of being grateful of the situation that I am in, where I can be mobile and change my location, change my actual environment. And through having a positive state of consciousness, it's not a homeless experience. It's a freedom-based experience. And I happen to be living freer than most. And so there is a sense of Zen and the art of actually living free. Because some people achieve a state of freedom, but they end up in a state of depression because they allow society to affect them the way that society labels. The way that other people behave. And it's not just other people, it's also themselves. They allow themselves to be affected adversely when in reality you don't have to. When someone is living basically in freedom and they're able to operate outside of just a conventional standard 9-to-5 way of doing things, they have so much more time at their disposal to learn a new craft, to start a business, to explore a part of themselves. And I could remember in the past when I was working and involved, I guess, with some people, working seemed to take time away from the relationship, from making food together. And so certain things never worked out between me and certain people early on. And perhaps there's other reasons for that, but I know that in people's lives, being tied down to something full time, some people may want a mate that's working all the time so they can go out and get resources. I understand, but that's another conversation. Ultimately, a lot of people that are in love, that are together, a lot of them would like to spend more time together, but you have maybe one person working at the supermarket and another person working over here. It's difficult because people have to bring in the resources. So that's why I really advocate a freedom-based lifestyle, off-the-grid living, however it's done. And it's really romantic when a man and women are working together towards something related to the freedom-based lifestyle, because in today's day and age, in the modern cities in America, everything's competition. Everything's minimum wage. Everything is renting an apartment for $500 or $600 or something to that effect. You have all this programming on mainstream television, and what it does is it makes for an adverse climate and takes us out of nature. I think the guy there was really getting a kick out of my speech as he watered his garden. I thought I would move on. This is what a trip. Look at that mountain. So off-the-grid living, the freedom-based lifestyle, men and women and future generations working together outside the dollar system and living healthier, happier lives without some of the struggles that so many people are facing today. You know, I don't necessarily believe in a collective shift in consciousness, but what I do believe is that this is the time where there's so many things that are possible, where there's knowledge that is available on how we can do certain things and liberate ourselves, liberate our minds, liberate our spirits, liberate our bodies. And the freedom-based lifestyle, off the grid, things of that nature, relate to that. So I'm going to stop filming. This is looks like the other supermarket. As I said, I noticed that the vibes at Walmart, even though a lot of Walmarts are known to have what are known as Walmart people, you know, people falling all over themselves, getting into fights in the aisles of Walmart, the people of Walmart. But when I went to the Walmart here in Salida, I never felt such calmness amongst not only the the products but the people. And to speak to their product line, they probably had some of the best selection of off-the-grid, outdoor supply related things. They also had a line of freeze-dried food from what I believe is Augusto or Augustin Farms. You can also find them on eBay. So this is Alex Ansary signing off from Salida, Colorado. I'll be providing updates throughout the week as I travel amongst this city using Wi-Fi, getting things done, and breathing a fresh breath of clean air, new energy, and so many other things.